I want to start today with some warmth. This is in Bulgaria. The year is 2022. I believe it's April or maybe March. I woke up at 6 a.m. in Estonia, in Tallinn, Estonia. I hadn't been waking up at 6 a.m. every day like I do now, so 6 a.m. was early for me back then. I spent the day traveling to Sofia, Bulgaria, and then setting up a new apartment, which I initially did not like. I grew to love it. Initially didn't like it. I spent the day setting it up for a 1.5 month stay. It required a lot of setup. It was snowing. It was a blizzard in Sofia. I barely had time to eat. In fact, I really didn't. And I was exhausted and hungry, and it was late, and there were no places open. I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria. There's no places open. The only place that's open to get food, and I'm tired and I'm hungry, is a halal place a couple blocks away. So I go to this halal place in the freezing cold, and I ask for halal, and they prepare it. They prepare it lovingly. It smells so nice. There's French fries and shaved meats and tons of vegetables. I can't wait to get home and eat this and all these sauces. And they hand it to me. They say $4.50, and I take out my phone to pay with my card. And then they say, sorry, we only take cash. But I just got here and I don't have cash. And I am so sad. I'm like, listen, I can come back tomorrow. They won't do it. I'm like, can you just do me the solid? They won't do it. And there's this guy nearby. And he sees this. And he's like, yo. He's like, hey. I got it. He goes, I got it. And he pays the $4.50, which in Bulgaria, that's like $11 purchase power. Like in the US, the equivalent of $4.50 in Bulgaria, in the US, it's $11. So, and this guy pays. He pays for me. And then I'm like, dude, thank you so much. Like, I don't know, can I do anything for you? And he's like, pay it forward. That's what he says to me, pay it forward. And now this is a few weeks ago. This is here in Brooklyn. I buy produce, fruit and vegetables at this stand near me. I bought all my stuff. It was $15, but I forgot the basil. And after I pay, I forget the basil. And I say, can I buy this basil? And I have been paying with my card again. If I want to pay with my card, the basil is so inexpensive that I have to buy some more stuff, which I don't need. I just got my stuff. And so I say, oh, well, I don't need any more stuff, so I'm not going to get the basil. There's a guy behind me, another guy behind me. His name is Jim. He goes, hey, I got it. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, don't worry. And he gives me the basil, and it makes my day. All right. Now, a couple hours ago, I'm coming back home from this amazing story, which I'm going to share, that took place in the World Trade Center today. I'm coming home from this story, and there's a 91-year-old woman, and she looks up for me. She's sitting down, and she looks up to me. I'm standing up. She asked me for directions. She took the train the wrong way. She took the C train the wrong way. She needs to go to 23rd Street. So I give her directions, and she says, I'm 91. Will you help me? Will you help me get to the train? I'm like, yeah. And we arrive at the stop where she has to change, and this was my stop. And I get out with her, and she's walking really slow. She's like, I can't walk very fast. I'm like, it's no problem. And I guide her to where she has to go, and she gets her train. And she was really, really nice and really grateful for it. And I was very happy to be able to help her. And she was a very sweet old woman. And so the lesson of these three stories is do something nice for somebody. Do something nice for a stranger. It'll make you feel good. And then you'll make other people feel good, and they'll make other people feel good. Pay it forward. Do some nice things. It's really amazing. All right, that's the start of episode number 20. Can you believe it? We are on number 20 of The Edward Show. This is my daily podcast where I try to make people smile. I try to inspire people. I try to give people knowledge about startups and go-to-market and user acquisition and getting customers and doing and achieving great things in business and tech and life. It's really what I'm interested in. It's the Edward Show. And today, you know what? There's a lot that I'm interested in today. There's a lot that I'm inspired about today, and I want to inspire you in turn by sharing what I'm inspired about, and hopefully I can do that. So this morning, normally when I walk home from meditating in the mornings around 7:20 a.m., that's when I finish meditation and walk home. Normally when I walk home, I listen to another business podcast. I love My First Million. I listen to that often. Or the Founders Podcast or the Hustle Daily Show. These are all shows that I love and listen to. But I read something that said, there is no writer's block that can beat a quiet walk without distractions. And I think that's right. Some of my best thoughts have come on walks where I had no distractions. So I said, I'm not going to listen to a podcast this morning. I'm going to walk home in silence, not even looking at my phone. And for the first 2 or 3 minutes, it was just a walk. And then after that, it was flowing inspiration. And I thought of so many things that I'm so excited to execute on. And I don't have the time to do as much of it as to do it as fast as I want, but I'm getting there. I'm so excited about all of this. I think this podcast that you're listening to right now, I think it can get big. I really do. I think the quality is here. Shout out to Vivian, Stanislav, and Zaid, who all messaged me to say how much they like the podcast. It's incredible that people are really listening and coming back. So I think the quality is there. And I have a lot of ways to bring more listeners to this. And I'm just really, really hyped to execute on these ways. And I'm going to share what these ways are. I think a lot of people, they don't share what the ways are before they do them, or like they think they're secret. They don't want to do it. They don't want to share it. Look, some of these ways might not work. Some of them may. And then when they do, it could be really good because a bunch of these ways are evergreen, which means I set it up and then I don't have to do anything after that. So I'm going to talk about the ways that I'm really excited to execute on. I believe in leveraging any existing advantage that you have. I talk about this often. In 2000, I'm a big fan of gaming on YouTube, watching video games being played on YouTube. In 2016, I wrote a long guide about the best video games that you should play on YouTube if you're a YouTube gamer. I update that every year. That guide still ranks number 1 on Google if you search what are the best games to play for YouTube. That still ranks number 1 on Google. It gets around 3,000 visitors a month because it ranks for a bunch of different keywords. And what I did is I made a separate pop-up for that page to collect emails that go to my email list. And the call to action was get Ed's top secret growth hacks for your gaming channel. And so YouTube gamers or aspiring YouTube gamers were giving me their emails because I would share marketing tricks with them and growth hacks that they could use to grow their YouTube channels. So here, and it works, and I get emails every day. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this ad and try using it to get listeners to the podcast. So maybe the call to action will say something like, fuel your gaming channel with Ed's daily growth podcast. Something like that. This is so much more than just a daily growth podcast, but I want to tailor it directly to the content of the page. And then I'll have buttons, highly stylized buttons that you click on with links to listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to put that in. I have also been looking into doing just conventional bottom of funnel SEO for this podcast. I talked a lot on a previous podcast all about the power of bottom of funnel SEO, how much I love it, how amazing it is. And I was doing some keyword research this morning. And actually, best business podcasts, best podcasts for success and motivation, and best entrepreneur podcasts. These are 3 keywords which I believe I can rank for. I believe I can rank for all of these keywords. I believe that they are all within striking distance of what I can accomplish, even with my site, which isn't a huge website. I think I can rank I could rank really highly for those keywords, which would bring in a lot of listeners every month without me doing anything. And I think the podcast is good enough that these listeners will be sticky. They will stick and they will listen episode after episode. And if I actually pulled this off and you are someone who came to this podcast from that, well, that's amazing. And I'm so happy to have you listening. That'd be so amazing. Someone's coming from the future, coming to this episode from the future and listening. That'd be cool. And maybe I'll do it. I could. Crazier things have happened. I used to rank for write education articles for people who wanted to write articles about education for my company Reverb.chat. And I rank Reverb.chat ranks number 1 for song recorder on Google. And that is a very competitive keyword. So I believe that I can do these things. TikTok SEO. For those who don't know, TikTok is taking market share away from Google for search. A lot of people are searching TikTok for things that they used to search Google for. And I'm going to try making a funny video for top 5 motivational podcasts. Motivational podcasts is the keyword. I actually already recorded 2 takes. I think I might record another one. And the video that I recorded is pretty funny. I'm excited to share it. And even if it doesn't do well, just by zoning in on the keyword so specifically, I still may be able to rank well enough that I get some listeners for this podcast without doing anything. I just put it up and that's it. And then it just gets listeners month after month. That's what evergreen means. I love SEO for that reason, because it's evergreen. You don't have to keep running ads and fine-tuning ads. You just put it up. And then it takes like a few days or a few weeks, starts ranking highly. Could take a few months even, but once it's there, the users, the listeners, the customers start coming in. All right, moving on. I'm changing up how I'm doing my videos. For those who don't know, I post short form videos daily on TikTok. They come out everywhere else, IG Reels, YouTube Shorts, everywhere. They come out everywhere. Someone is calling me right now, and my phone is still going off even though I clicked deny. There we go. I'm changing up how I'm doing my videos. I'm trying 1-minute bios. I like this because it is more finely defined within this Content Inc. framework, which I previously described. If you don't remember, or if you didn't listen, the Content Inc. framework says there are 4 variables for how you make your content. Variable 1 is niche. Variable 2 is spin. Variable 3 is platform. Variable 4 is content type. So my niche for a 1-minute bio, it's successful people's bios. That's a very popular niche. So how do I narrow it down? I have a spin under 1 minute. I have a certain platform, TikTok, and I have a content type, short form, under 1 minute. And then these videos come out everywhere else, but they're made for TikTok. But nowadays, many different platforms use the format of content that TikTok uses, which is 1 minute mobile shorts. And I'm really into storytelling and riveting arcs, creating riveting character and story arcs. I made a video 2 days ago in this format about Caleb Simpson, the guy who goes up to people and asks them how much they pay for rent and if he can see their apartment. And this video did very well. I think it's up to 75,000 views. But then I made a video yesterday in a similar format and it did not do well. And so this morning on my meditative quiet walk, I reflected on why. and why video 1 did well and why video 2 did not do well. And I realized some very useful things about storytelling. So with video 1, I start with the big thing that Caleb Simpson did, but I didn't do that in video 2. So that's what I have to do. So this is the framework that I wrote up. Start with the big thing the person did. Why do we care about their arc? And then after that, some hook. I just did a deep dive on this person, or it's not what you think. I didn't do any of this for video 2, but I did it for video 1. Then say the struggle that we can relate to of that person. And it's a 1-sentence summary of the struggle. This is my framework, which I'm trying now for creating these 1-minute bios, these 1-minute mobile video bios, a 1-second summary of the struggle, and then give 2 to 3 specific examples of that struggle. Then say the opportunity that person got to get them out of the struggle. So the opportunity the person who ends up being successful gets, the lessons that allowed that individual to turn this opportunity into a success, and give a specific example. People like examples. People want to be able to imagine with examples. For example, this is with Caleb Simpson. This was my line from the video. The best piece of advice Caleb got was to make what he had been wanting to see. He had been telling a friend that a series asking people about rent and their homes would kill it. The friend did not do it. Caleb did. He made what he wanted to see, and it blew up immediately. So give a specific example like that. That's what I'm going to be doing. And then a 1 feel-good line to wrap it up. And that, I believe, we will see, is how you do an under 1 minute inspiring bio of a person. I think this is a niche. This is a spin on a niche that could be really popular. People love inspiring bios. And I don't think many people have done it well for a short form video yet. And this is also something that I personally am interested in. So I'm excited to try this. These are all things that I'm excited to try. The SEO, the new storytelling, all excited to try this. This is a long episode, but I want to share a bit about today because today was crazy. Today was a crazy day. All right. I spent several hours atop the World Trade Center on floor 85. The views are insane, as you can imagine. And it's 360 degrees looking out north over Manhattan with the Empire State Building in front of me. To the left is New Jersey. To the right is my home, Brooklyn. Below me is FIDI, Financial District, and the Statue of Liberty. And it's so high up and you see over everything. And I go there to meet Zaid Khan. And I mentioned Zaid previously. He listens to this podcast. Shout out Zaid. Thank you for listening. He invited me because he listened to the podcast and he was inspired. I had coffee with him Saturday. I had told him about the podcast, and then he listened and he's like, I want this guy to meet my team. And so I go to his office on the 85th floor of the World Trade Center. And Zaid is crazy accomplished. He's an advisor to the royal family in Dubai. He has an amazing story of his own. I want to get him on the pod to talk about it. It's a very inspiring story. And he's with his team. Everybody's in suits except for me. They're all in these expensive tailored suits with this amazing view outside. I'm in a pink t-shirt. I love the color pink. I like pink t-shirts. It's kind of my thing to wear pink t-shirts. And I have a personal policy. I have a personal policy about being really humble, honest, and authentic. And that's how I am when I go. And him and his team, they like this. They trust me. They should trust me. And just because they believe in me and because they like the podcast and because they like me, they give me this incredible media asset, which I would be betraying Zaid's trust if I said what this asset is. But what I can say is because of the people involved with it, I believe it's worth millions of dollars to some people. To others who don't know how to use it, it's not really worth anything. But if you know how to use it, it's worth millions of dollars. It is really an amazing asset. That's, I guess, unfortunately, all I can say about it. And they give it to me because they trust me. And I don't know if we'll do anything with it. It also takes, like I said, it takes bandwidth to use. And that is not something that I have a lot of right now. I'm doing this daily podcast, putting out videos every day, a weekly newsletter, articles, meeting people every day. But there might be a way that I could still do this. I could still use this media asset with a friend. And I'm grateful for it. And it's a generous offer. And I want to talk a little bit about why they gave it to me. So if you like meeting people and you like having people give you stuff or trust you or having new amazing friends, I think this is very relevant. I'm pretty honest and authentic with people. I really aim to do that. I think one action, one lie can ruin somebody's trust in you forever. And I never want that to happen with me. I never want to be inauthentic or dishonest. I'm also very ambitious. Anybody can see that. That goes well with the honesty and authenticity. And then I put myself out there. And that's why I get the opportunities that I do, is because I put myself out there. Now listen, a lot of people are afraid to put yourself out there. And here's the truth. Not everybody's going to resonate with you. I mean, plenty of people unsubscribe from my weekly email newsletter. Even people who know me, they unsubscribe. But if you put yourself out there and you're authentic and you're honest and you're ambitious, you will find a tribe of great people who like you. And I consistently do that in any city that I go to. And as I get older, I get even better at being authentic, hyper authentic, and comfortable putting myself out there. And I think it's something that all of us should aim to be very good at. I think those are very important soft skills to have. By the way, you can find the newsletter at the bottom of edwardsturm.com, my personal website, STURM, M as in monkey, edwardsturm.com if you want to check out the newsletter. All right, so after this meeting with Zaid, thank you again, Zaid, for inviting me. And thank you to the team for being so gracious. Then I hung out on the 65th floor lounge of the World Trade Center. There was this crazy, insane storm ominously floating in over New Jersey. And I just sat there and I watched it. And it loomed over the Verrazano Bridge and loomed over the West Village when it breached Manhattan. And I watched it envelop the World Trade Center with rain. And there was so much rain, and I made a video about it, which I think is actually doing quite well on Twitter now. There was some newswoman from ABC who asked me if she could use it, but I just did that for fun. So I head home to write up notes for the show. That's actually all for today, but I want to do 2 rapid-fire random thoughts that I tweeted out. These are top of mind for me, and I think they're interesting. All right, 2 rapid-fire random thoughts. Fundraising is only ever easy when, number 1, investors are coming to you. Number 2, you have warm connections who you've done good deals with. For everything else, it's a waste of your time. So figure out how to make investors hit you up. This is a way better use of your time. I learned this personally. I've seen so many friends spin their wheels, waste their time, run through their supplies of effort by not following this advice. Number 2, random thought. The second random thought is so many people were saying ChatGPT was going to kill search when ChatGPT launched in December. I looked at a lot of my search engine optimization pages, and these are pages where searchers are savvy enough to use ChatGPT. And here's what I've seen. I haven't seen any decrease in traffic since December when ChatGPT dropped. I still think ChatGPT is very valuable for doing searches, but I haven't personally seen a huge impact, and I think that's an interesting thing to notice. Anyway, that's episode 20 of the Edward Show. That's episode 20 of the Daily Edward Show. Oh my gosh, this was a big one. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Woo! I'm going to cool down. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.